into Illini Drive. I am your host, Alec Busse. It is Thursday, October 24th. It is just a three-person show today. I am joined by Erich Fisher, normally on the Tuesday-Thursday show. Happy to have you here, as always. And our wonderful producer, Gabby Hajduk. It seems to be having a better and better week as the day goes along. So, Gabby, are you improving upon your Tuesday?
Yeah, cool. I'd say so.
Can't believe October's already almost over.
I know, isn't that crazy? I feel like
Halloween's like Halloween weekend at U of I.
What's everyone being for Halloween?
It's a great weekend.
So wait, what do you know what you're being for Halloween? Because I already know.
Okay, so I'm super broke right now, and I have this toga costume that I had to get for something that I had last semester. And if I decide that I don't want to spend money, I'm gonna go with that. But
okay,
classic.
If not, I think I'm gonna end up going with something more fun. Figure it out as the time goes on.
Okay. I've been planning mine since April. I'm going as
Jesus.
Maury Povich.
Okay.
You guys know Maury Povich? He does the show where it's he finds out if who's the baby daddy.
Who's the father?
Yeah, I already bought my whole outfit.
I literally love that. All
I had to do was buy a gray button-up T-shirt, and then I already have the waffle shirt.
You're
that goes
the
over
father.
It. I'm gonna have glasses, a wig. I'm gonna walk around with a vanilla folder and just start telling people they're adopted.
So, what is your costume, Gabby?
So, me and my roommate are being Snooki and Dina from Jersey Shore.
Which one are you?
Dina.
All right, I feel like you don't fit much of a Snooki personality.
No, I'm more of a Dina.
But
do you have
Snooki? Are you guys gonna get super spray tans?
I think we might dedicate. I think we might do it for Thursday night.
Good.
I think we might have to.
I'm gonna try.
I think we might order black wigs and then do the poof.
Okay.
Do you have a Pauly D or a Ronnie?
No,
Maybe a Vinny? What about a Mike?
We don't need them. we're single gals.
No,
we're
Sammy.
single gals.
We don't need no situation. We're out on the town. We're out on this Champagne shore out here. Okay, it's good. It's warm. It's nice.
My goal is I'm gonna tweet out a picture of me dressed as Maury, and hopefully Maury sees it. That's my goal.
I will at him 20 times for you.
Maury's my hero. He's just what dude just sits up on the stage and says, "Yeah, you're not that child's dad." That's just.
I love
Can
it.
you imagine being on that show?
I know someone who was on that show.
Oh God,
really?
that's not
I know someone from
My favorite part of the show is when they're arguing, whatever, slapping each other, whatever. I mean, that's more Jerry Springer, but they're arguing, and then Maury says nothing, and then just stands up and holds the folder, and the audience loses their freaking minds. It's amazing.
I know. I want to be in one of those audiences.
I want to go to a Jerry Springer
fun.
show.
I just don't want to be on that show.
Well, I would hope not, Alec.
You have a choice.
Okay?
You have a choice. They choose to be on
I'd hope to never be in a situation where I even have to risk being on that show. But anyway, let's get to the show because before this gets censored,
we can talk about Halloween the entire time.
Before this gets censored by the government.
Spooky episode.
Spooky episode.
Spooky episode next Thursday. Oh my God, we're on air for Halloween. Oh my God,
we're coming in costumes.
I'm coming in as Dina.
All right, so
I'm so excited for next Thursday.
We've got a good show for you. We're going to talk about Illinois-Purdue, probably the biggest game of the season so far, considering Illinois just beat Wisconsin last Saturday for homecoming at Memorial Stadium, the 6th-ranked Wisconsin Badgers at the time. They've moved down to 13th since then. We're then going to talk a little bit about Illinois volleyball. They went up 2-0 last night against Penn State, but then lost 3 straight, and that's very, very frustrating, and I cannot imagine how disappointed Chris Thomas and Jacqueline Quaid and the rest of the women's volleyball team is. I'm sure Gabby can give us some insight on that.
Of course.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the NBA after the first 2 nights if we have some time. And then, of course, we're going to end with
the NFL picks.
Our NFL picks for the weekend. Do you have any interest in starting to include college picks in there?
No.
Okay. All right.
There's too much.
We could pick best college games and best NFL games.
There's
just
maybe next week. Maybe
right.
down the spooky episode.
We need a show.
Episode.
We need to get a show group chat so we can plan this. We're gonna do that after the show, so we can give you guys better shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But let's talk about this Purdue game. Obviously, a huge game for Illinois. I believe Purdue opened as a -9-point favorite, and I think it's actually grown a little bit. I don't have the line in front of me right now. But where do you guys feel like Illinois is? It's a very tough spot for me right now. I think that part of me is Illinois is going to go into West Lafayette, and they're going to beat Purdue. But then there's the other side of me that's all right, you're overreacting because they beat Wisconsin, because they looked good for 4 quarters against Wisconsin, and because Illinois matches up better against Wisconsin. But I also think that Lovie Smith might have this team going in a better direction. You've looked good.
Yeah.
You looked good for a quarter against Michigan. You looked really good against Nebraska. And Minnesota clearly is better than a lot of people thought. And Minnesota's a really tough place to win.
Yeah.
So maybe Lovie Smith does have this going in the right direction, and we just needed to see the Illinois beat Wisconsin. But obviously this is a huge matchup for Illinois, and we talked Tuesday a little bit briefly about how Illinois doesn't match up as well against Wisconsin or against Purdue as they did Wisconsin, because Purdue tends to throw the ball a lot more and
successfully throw it too.
And they have a lot better targets, especially even for a backup quarterback like Jack Plummer to throw to. I'm very intrigued to see what Illinois does defensively, because I feel like Lovie might have more adjustments up his sleeve this week.
I think this game's gonna be a shootout, honestly. And I think it's going to come down to either who turns the ball over more or which defense comes up with that one more stop than the other one. Because both teams, I think, have significant advantages against the opposing team's defense. Illinois, on offense, I think they have a significant advantage in the run game and that on the offensive line. I think Reggie Corbin could have a field day on that, but that's also – it's tough to really – assess that, because last year Illinois just laid an egg against Purdue at homecoming, and they only put up one touchdown on Purdue, and Purdue put up 46 on Illinois. But at the same time, this Illinois team's riding a high, coming off of playing Michigan competitively, where turned out it actually was a moral victory for that team, and then defeating Wisconsin. I think the morale around the team right now is the highest it's been probably in the entire Lovie tenure. I mean, when you beat
maybe the highest this decade.
Maybe, yeah. When you beat number 6 Wisconsin like that, I think that's what's going to probably happen. So I think this Illinois team does have an advantage on offense, but at the same time, this Purdue spread offense, I think, could tear up Illinois just like it did last year. It's looking like Rondell Moore still remains doubtful to play in the game, but they got another talented freshman in David Bell, who chose Purdue over Ohio State, and he's been just having a terrific season. And Jack Plummer's stepped in when Jeff Singler went down, and he's been airing it out. Against Iowa, he had I think he had 320 passing yards and threw the ball 50 times, which is insane to think that your backup quarterback is throwing the ball that much. But he's been relatively successful. Did have an interception that game, and so this Purdue offense is going to spread Illinois out, and Illinois' pass defense has just been so bad this season. Even against Wisconsin, it struggled for the most part, but Wisconsin just couldn't get anything going in the run game, which stalled their entire offense. And so I think this game is going to be a shootout. I don't think Illinois will win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did, just because they're carrying that momentum. But I also wouldn't be surprised right now if Illinois got blown out this game, honestly. And I think right now where this Illinois football team is that no one has no idea what this team is. And I think that's the best spot this team's been in for a while, because it is kind of good to expect the unexpected from this Illinois team right now. And so I think it's going to be, you hit on it, Alec, it's going to be probably the biggest game of the Lovie tenure up to this point, and I think, honestly, it might be one of the more exciting ones.
So
going into it, I should say. Wisconsin's obviously after that game finished. That's the most exciting. But going into it might be one of the most exciting games.
There's more of an anticipation around this game.
There's expectations
that I can think of around Lovie's tenure, maybe since going all the way back to the North Carolina game in his first season.
Yeah, it's because we thought the season was in the toilet after the Nebraska and the Minnesota beatdown and Eastern Michigan. We thought this season was in the toilet, and then Wisconsin happens, and then you have no idea what to expect the rest of the season. Now you have Rutgers and Northwestern, two extremely winnable games, I think, and so now if you're Illinois and obviously you're trying to make a bowl game, you have to win one of these 3 games. At Michigan State, at Iowa, and at Purdue. And I think Purdue is going to be your best bet there, a team that's rattled with injuries on both sides of the ball, I believe, definitely on the offensive side of the ball. So I think if you're Illinois, this could be the game that secures you a bowl spot, honestly.
Go ahead.
Okay, I just want to – I don't know. I said this yesterday too. I think this game might come down to the defense, I think, and I know – both offenses kind of have the advantage because, we don't have the best pass coverage, and what Purdue's best at is passing. They don't have the best, they don't, defend the run all that well, and we have a really good rushing game. So I think the offenses are at the advantage. But at the same time, you saw how well the Illinois defense adjusted to Wisconsin and how well they handled them. So I think it's actually going to come down to, like, which defense makes that extra stop. What defense prevents that touchdown and holds it to the field goal? I think it's really going to be those tedious moments where if Purdue's at the goal line, can we hold them like we held Wisconsin? And I think if Illinois defense can do that, I think we'll be able to win this game. I think the offense can produce, and I hope, Brandon Peters is kind of riding this game against Wisconsin. He didn't play amazing, but he played well.
Down the stretch, he
played down the stretch. Exactly. So I hope he's riding that, and now his confidence is a little higher to where now he can play an entire game really well. So I feel like I have confidence in that, which I haven't. I mean, you guys know I have not had any confidence in Brandon Peters this whole season, but I feel that now. And so I think if this defense can have another good, consistent week, I feel like that's what's going to give Illinois the win. And yesterday I said 27-24 Illinois. Ooh. But I think I'm going to add 3 points on to each team and go 30-27. I don't know. I just it seems too low of a score for me, but
I think that's an interesting point you brought up about it's going to come down to which team bends and doesn't break. Because I think that's what a lot of it's going to be. Because I think a lot of yards are going to be given up this game by both sides.
By both sides, exactly.
I think Purdue's especially is going to put up yards. I think this Illinois offense can. I just don't know if it will, especially after what happened last season. But I think that's a big point of which defense is going to bend and not break in this game.
I agree 100% with what you guys are saying about how it's going to come down to Illinois' defense. And I feel like that's kind of been the message all season in relation to whether or not Illinois is going to have an ability to win these games that we've kind of labeled as a toss-up. Whether it was the Nebraska game, which, let's be honest, the defense really struggled when you needed them the most.
Oh, my gosh. They had 700 yards of offense.
Yeah, and the offense struggled.
If it wasn't for the 4 turnovers. Yeah.
The offense struggled in the second half, but the defense, they gave you enough chances to win. You look at the Eastern Michigan game. They couldn't get you a stop when you needed it the most. Yeah. You look at the Minnesota game, and I'm not saying you would have won the Minnesota game if the defense played better, but you're in that game.
2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you're in that game. And I look at what Jack Plummer has done for Purdue, and it kind of scares me because he's getting significantly better as the games seem to go on. Obviously, his first game of the year was against TCU, and his completion percentage in that game was just 44%. He had less than 200 yards. He had just 1 touchdown to 2 interceptions. Just to put into perspective how much he's improved since then, 2 weeks ago they played Maryland. He was 33 of 41 for 420 yards, which is an 80.5% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns to 0 interceptions.
It's ridiculous.
And granted, Maryland's defense is not great. But then he was
still a Big Ten team.
It was. And he was able to follow that up with another really solid performance against Iowa, who does have a good defense. He completed 30 of 50, and you hit on this a little bit, Fish. He completed 30 of 50, which is obviously 60%.
It's a solid. It's an okay.
I would love if Brandon Peters' completion percentage was 60%.
Yeah.
He with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's getting a lot better, and his quarterback rating against Iowa was 124.1.
Solid.
That's very good. He's someone who has come to a point now where he's found a relationship with his receivers that he probably didn't have before.
He's got that rapport now.
Especially when you look at a guy like David Bell, who had 138 yards and 2 touchdowns against Maryland. Against Iowa, he wasn't able to be stopped. He had 13 catches for 197 yards. So is this kid the next Rondell Moore?
He's the real deal. And then when you have Rondell Moore come back, that's a scary team offensively.
It is. And because now you've gotten to a point where if you're Purdue and you're Jeff Brom, you've realized that you have David Bell, but everyone already knows you had Rondell Moore.
Yeah.
So now how do you find a way to guard those 2 young, explosive wide receivers? But it's not just those 2. He also has a solid tight end in Bryson Hopkins. This kid's electric. He's second on the team with 29 catches and 396 yards. For a tight end,
that's pretty good.
That's a lot. If Illinois can find a way to defend...
Illinois can't defend tight ends at all
They
this
can't.
season.
That's
that's what my biggest fear is, because I feel like you might find a way to stop David Bell. If you can find if that means moving Nate Hobbs to just shadow him wherever he goes.
That's not Lovey ball, though.
It's not. But Lovey made adjustments to a better matchup against Wisconsin, and he made better adjustments to match up a little bit better against Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Lovey's starting to get to a point now where I think you kind of got to make a little bit of adjustments. And maybe it clicked for him when he heard Scott Frost say in his media availability, we don't expect Illinois to do anything different. Maybe it kind of just clicked for him after the defense gave up 700 yards, that he's going to have to make minor adjustments with this personnel that he has this season. I don't know what Illinois would need to do to stop Bryson Hopkins at tight end for Purdue, because he's a very good pass catcher, but on top of that, he's a good blocker too. Yeah. And Jake Hansen isn't the best in coverage, and he's been
neither is Deli Harding yet,
and neither is Milo.
Yeah, he hasn't been great, and that's why you moved him in there, was to play more pass coverage like that.
So is your answer then to Lino Ware?
And if he's healthy, maybe.
If he's healthy, and that becomes a huge question mark, because you can't put a Quan Martin on a tight end. You can't put a Devin Witherspoon on a tight end. You can't put Tony Adams on him. Those guys,
but he's not. You just can't.
They're going to get ran over. So what does Illinois do, and what adjustments do you guys think Lovie Smith is going to have to make to match up a little bit better against Bryson Hopkins? Because to me, I think he's just as much of a worry as Hill is.
I mean, it all starts with the pass rush.
Bell, sorry.
Defensively, you have to, for Illinois, it all has to start with getting a pass rush. They haven't really been able to generate one all season. And we still don't know what Wally Batiku's status is heading into this game. And he's even a guy that in the last couple of games after his fast start, he's kind of slowed down a little bit. He did have a sack last week, but it was more of just a coverage sack, I would say. But he's your best pass rusher right now, and he's out. So that's very concerning for Illinois. And besides that, no other player has really been able to step up and generate a pass rush. I think your next best pass rush after that is Isaiah Gay, and we all know Isaiah Gay is wildly inconsistent. He did have a hurry last week.
He's getting better.
He is getting better. Yeah.
Somehow, after a very quiet training camp where his name was never mentioned for good things, he's somehow getting his name mentioned with good things now.
And that's the basis for Lovie's scheme. Lovie's scheme is that you have to get a 4-man pass rush so they could drop back and cover 2 like that, and that way the quarterback doesn't have time to hit you in the pockets that the cover 2's weak against, especially down the seam against tight ends. That's why you're seeing Illinois struggle. You saw it on that. You saw it on the Wisconsin's opening drive where he was able to just connect with his. I think it was Ferguson, right? Was the Wisconsin tight end?
Yes, that sounds right.
He connected with him down the seam for that touchdown, and that play's been generating points all season for teams. Nebraska killed Illinois with J.D. Spielman down the seam the entire game, and then David Bell. David Bell's going to be a tough guy to control. I think you're going to have to really going to have to put on two guys. The safety's going to have to shadow that side of the field, and I think
that safety can't be Stanley Green, because Stanley Green's not good in pass coverage, and Sidney Brown's not great in pass coverage either. So do you risk moving Tony Adams back to safety?
That's what I said. That was the idea I was kind of tinkering with in my head. You move Tony Adams back to safety, then you bring Devon Witherspoon back,
but they've got other good receivers. You look at a guy like Jackson Arthrup and Ahmad Anderson. They've got other good receivers.
This is a bad matchup defensively for Illinois, because Purdue's going to spread the ball out. They're going to air it out, and Illinois has been terrible pass defense because your linebackers haven't been able to shut down the middle of the field because they're just not great in coverage. They're great against the run. That especially Deli Harding and Jake Hansen has just been making plays when he needs to. Currently leading the country in forced fumbles. But these linebackers are not great in coverage, and it's been like that all season by them not being able to hold down the middle of the field, especially Dele Harding, because that's his job in cover 2 is to take away that deep middle of the field so the safeties can play the outside boundaries. And you see it not working. And then you're seeing the safeties not being able to take away the outside boundaries because they have to come in more toward the middle. And so it's just this Illinois pass defense has been a mess all year, and this Purdue offense I feel like is going to take huge advantage of it. But I feel like if Illinois is going to slow them down, it has to start with David Bell, and it has to start also with getting a pass rush. I think you're going to need 2 guys to shadow David Bell, and I don't know if Lovie's going to make that adjustment because Lovie loves sticking with that cover 2 defensively. I think one thing though Illinois might have to do is play a lot more cover 4, where they just bring everyone back and make sure David Bell can't get behind them defensively. But then who knows what the run game can do, because
their run game's no joke.
Exactly, and we've seen teams that haven't been known for running the ball on defenses just have field days against Illinois, like Minnesota. So I think Illinois has, as crazy as this may sound, I think this Illinois defense has a bigger challenge this week in Purdue than it did against Wisconsin.
Well, and you mentioned the run game. Purdue's no joke at the run game. They have a freshman in King Doray. Is that how you say it? Doray?
I'm not sure. I'm going to let you butcher that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, King. I don't know your last name. I'm sure you're listening to Illini Drive, just trying to get a little bit of information on the Illini defense. But he's the first freshman running back from Purdue to finish with 3 touchdowns since 2005.
Wow.
He finished with 20 carries and 94 yards and 2 touchdowns on the ground last week. And then on top of that, he had 4 catches for 32 yards and a score. This kid's electric, too. Their offense has everywhere. A lot of weapons. And Jonathan Taylor is getting better.
Boy, Jeff Brom has just built a program already. It's kind of...
Yeah, and the reason they're 2-5, injuries. Is that what they are? Is because of injuries. Yeah. And hats off to Jeff Brom, because he's done a damn good job in West Lafayette.
On the recruiting trail and just on the field, too.
In a place that's not easy to win.
And then I think Illinois fans are extremely jealous at Purdue because Jeff Brom came in, last year was
his third year.
Third year?
And I think. Fourth year?
And so Jeff...
I think it's third year. I think he
so
missed
Jeff
a bowl
Brom's been able to come in and build a very dynamic Purdue team, and this is year 4 of Lovey, and we're still not really sure where this program is at. But Jeff Brom has just done a hell of a job in Purdue.
Do you guys want to do your picks with score? I know, Gabby, you kind of already mentioned yours, but you can reiterate it.
Yeah, let's do picks so we can go to break soon.
All right, so I don't love this matchup for Illinois, and I know you guys, we've all kind of hit on that Illinois' defense is really going to have to step up and make plays. I see them doing that through the game in important situations, but I see them letting a couple scores get by them. I have Purdue winning 31-26.
Ooh, okay, I'll go... I think I'm going to go Purdue 42, Illinois 30. I think Purdue is going to just offensively, they're going to explode, but I think Illinois is going to play competitive for the most part.
You said 43 what?
42-30 Purdue.
Okay. And Gabby, you had 30-27
Yeah,
Purdue?
I'm going to go with that.
And any elaboration on that?
I mean...
I'm Gabby. That's
my
elaboration.
We have 2 minutes before break, so.
I mean, I just...
You got to fill it.
I think that the defense knows what they can do now, Illinois' defense. And I think that, they're riding this high. And I think the one thing that has, kind of kept them up this whole year is the whole Bobby Roundtree situation. And I know, we probably all saw that video all over Twitter today of them FaceTiming him right after the win. And I was...
Shagbanya.
Yeah. He was crying. I feel like that emotion... Just having that emotion be a victim, that team felt that after that win, and I think that they're not ready to let that go. And I think the only way to do that is win against Purdue. If you want to keep riding that emotion and keep doing that. So I feel like I said earlier, I think this is going to come down to a defensive game. That last stop, that last hold on the goal line, things like that. And I think this defense is capable of it, but. You have another injury in a game, someone goes down in Purdue, that's just going to make it harder. But I don't know. I think this whole team is really bought in to the culture and the process right now. So that's why I think they're going to win.
So, you're taking Purdue.
Yeah.
And so Gabby's taking Illinois. All right.
I think we all three hope that Gabby is right because it makes our show a lot more entertaining the next week.
It does.
All right, we are going to come back from break, hit on Illinois volleyball's 3-2 set loss last night to the 8th-ranked Penn State Nittany Lions, and then we're going to do a little quick hit on the NBA after the first 2 nights. And then, we're going to come back with our NFL picks at the end of the show. Welcome back to Illini Drive. I'm your host, Alec Busse, joined by the 2 wonderful co-hosts I have, Gabby Hajduk and Erich Fisher. We're going to talk about the disappointing loss that the Illinois volleyball suffered. I feel like this show this group has to talk about Illinois volleyball more than any other group that Illini Drive has. But that's a good thing because...
I feel like we always fall on the day after.
Yeah, and that's a good thing because we have Gabby. No other show has Gabby.
Our correspondent to the volleyball team covers them for the Daily Illini.
That's me.
Read all her stuff. Or you could check her out at 24/7 Sports now. Doing some non-revenue stuff for Mr. Warner.
Super exciting. Okay.
Subscribe to Illini Inquirer and Orange and Blue News if you have the funds to do so.
Oh, we didn't have to plug me in there. That was a Gabby's
Well, I feel like I need to plug the both of you.
That was my time? Okay.
That was
talk about
aggressive. All right. So, Gabby, I made a bold decision last night, and I said, you know what? I'm going to watch Illinois volleyball instead of the World Series. And it ended up kind of working out for me because the World Series game wasn't that interesting, and I turned it on after the volleyball game. But I watched Illinois, and I saw them win the first 2 sets, and I was like, wow, Gabby's prediction is wrong, but they're going to win.
But they're going to win.
They're going to beat Penn State. I was like, wow, Gabby's good.
No, okay.
And then they lost 3 straight, and they lose 3-2, and that's bad.
Let me tell you, I could probably pull up exact text of me texting our friends Brendan and JJ, telling them that they're going to lose after they won the first 2 sets. Like, I knew it.
Oh, man. And that's tough.
That's tough because they've done this a couple times this season. They get up, and then they completely fall. And it's just, obviously, this Penn State team is really good. So, I mean, you can't, like, it's not like they lost to a bad team, but it's the fact that they got up, dominated. They dominated one of the sets. Let me look.
It was the first set.
They dominated the first set 25-8. Okay, not completely dominated, but the first set was 25-18.
They were up 25. They were up 20-15 though.
Yeah. And then they were down in the second set and came back and won 26-24. Had a horrible third set, lost 25-15. I think Penn State was up like 7-1 at one point in that set. Fourth set. This was the set that I just knew put me over the edge. I knew there was no chance at the fifth set.
This is when I got to it too.
They had match point. Illinois had match point. And Jackie Quaid service error.
And that's just a mental lapse.
Exactly, because that's
from someone you don't like.
She's one of the better servers in the Big Ten.
Yeah,
I mean, she's one of the best players in the country.
But if you look at her stats, her service errors are through the roof. So like, it's not all that surprising. But you think she's been in that pressure situation before? You can't. You just have to get the ball in and win it on the block, win it on the attack. It was just disappointing to me because seeing them play so well in the first 2 sets and be so aggressive, and then third set come out so flat, and then fourth set, you're in there, and then a couple errors at the end, and then the fifth set, I mean, it was close, 15-13, but Penn State was the better team in the fifth set for sure. I mean, that was obvious to anyone watching, but it's hard because I don't really know where this team's at because they're good. They are good. They put together really good sets. They put together such good points. And when I was watching the broadcast, one of the announcers was talking about how Chris Thomas has been focusing on the longer points and winning the longer points because a lot of the times Illinois will have one good kill and then their next kill will be, or their next attack will be, miscommunicated, not good, in the wrong spot. So those long points, Illinois won a lot of those. And that says a lot about the energy and the hustle that they're bringing. But that doesn't matter when you don't finish out the match that you were up 2-0. It's
no excuse. It's no excuse for a team that's been to a Final Four, that is a veteran team, that has those players been in that situation.
I get in the beginning of the season, you're still trying to mesh with your new players, but you need to be together now. Especially, I would get it if they didn't win those first 2 sets. Penn State is a really good team, but they put Penn State on their heels and didn't finish. And I think...
Gabby, can I ask you something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why is Beth Prince not playing more? I mean, I know she's gone through injuries.
Yeah, I don't think she's still fully,
but if she's
healthy enough to play, multiple rotations at a time.
Okay.
Because she goes in for just one...
But she got 11 kills.
Every time she went in, I think her hitting percentage...
It was really high.
What was it? Let's see.
We're going to have to do a little...
348.
That's insane. That's really good.
After Micah Allison, who played really well, had 9 kills and hit 364. I mean...
If you get a hitting percentage over 200, that's solid. If you're at 300, that's really, really good. And if you're over 300, that's outstanding.
And Beth came off the bench every time. She was never in for more than one hit or one rotation. And so I think it does come down to just her not being fully healthy and conditioned enough to be in at longer times. And she proved that coming in at that time, once in a while really worked for her. So I can see why maybe Thomas didn't want to keep her in, because then maybe it wouldn't have gone as well the second time, the second play in a row. So I completely get that, but it's just the fact that when the game goes down to the wire, they don't perform, and that's frustrating because this team is good. This team has a ton of talent. They're just not putting it together at the right times.
I don't disagree, and I think it's going to have to come down to a point where they just got to get over the hump and beat a highly ranked team, other than Purdue. I mean, Purdue is ranked in the late teens. I think they were 17. I feel like if they can get to a point where they can beat a high-ranked team and get some momentum, maybe string together a couple victories, they'll feel better about where they are going forward. But
I mean, they play 3 unranked teams coming up.
You got to win all 3.
You have to win this stretch, and you
Ohio
have to
State
win
is
good.
no joke. They're ahead of Illinois currently in the Big Ten.
Yeah, but they don't. That's because Illinois has played a lot of ranked teams in the Big Ten so far.
I mean,
I don't
they
know.
play Michigan this weekend too, don't they?
Yeah, they
Michigan?
next weekend, 2 weekends. They play Michigan and Michigan State over Dad's weekend, November 1st and 2nd. So that's something that everyone should check out that weekend. You have to win this 3-game stretch. I mean, if you don't, against 3 unranked teams,
you can press the big red panic button.
Yeah. I mean, now's not the time to panic because you went through this 3-game stretch that was really hard, really physically demanding.
You weren't supposed to win any of these 3 games.
But you needed to win one, and you did.
Well, and you were in position to win 2 of them. You were up 2-0 against Wisconsin.
So you need to get one of
against
those.
Wisconsin, and you were up 2-0 against Penn State, and you weren't able to finish either of those.
And you didn't.
So that's obviously very frustrating for Chris Thomas and the rest of Illinois volleyball. Let's spend 5 to 10 minutes roughly talking about the NBA. This is Erich Fisher's thing.
I know. It's like I love the NBA. I love the NBA more than college basketball, which has gotten many people to scream at me, mainly my friend group.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest with you. I can watch the NBA a lot until Feast Week.
Till what week?
Feast Week that ESPN does, where they do that around Thanksgiving break. They've got the Maui tournament, the Battle for Atlantis. Once that hits, I'm all college basketball until April, and then I can get back into the NBA.
Okay.
And I like the NBA more than I did when I was a kid. I'm just at a point where I just love college basketball. I've always loved college basketball.
I think it's a different vibe too when you're in college too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so
let's just go through yesterday's games a little bit, and then I could talk about the Bulls.
Can we hit on the Lakers and Clippers real quick?
Yeah,
I just want to hit on that because I've always thought that the Clippers roster was better, especially when you look at their defensive matchups. LeBron and AD were held to 2 points in the fourth quarter against the Clippers on Tuesday night, and that's
regular season. LeBron's a little passive.
I don't care. It's game 1 of 82, and I don't care that much about it.
I don't either.
But the Clippers beat them by 10 without Paul George.
I think it was more of a I think that game was more of a statement of the Clippers winning and showing that the combination of LeBron and AD isn't too much for them.
Do you feel like the Lakers need another piece? That's where I was going with that.
I
think they do.
I don't, because
I don't think it needs to be a superstar, but it needs to be someone.
Though. Playoff LeBron is I'm going to put up 40 points and I'm going to shoot 60% from the field. And AD's going to do his thing, putting up probably 20 or 30 points too. But I was more impressed with the Clippers just because they didn't have Paul George, and Kawhi is still a dog.
Yeah, Kawhi is the best player in the NBA.
If Kawhi wants to, he's going to be the MVP this year. But I don't think he will, just because I think they're going to do the same thing with load management that the Raptors did with them, because, that clearly worked so well for them in the postseason. And then when Paul George comes back, who was looking fly in that tuxedo, I thought that was... No, he was looking slick, man. Come on. He was looking good. But I still like the Lakers a lot. I think the Lakers are still the better team than the Clippers, just because I think the combination...
Wow.
I do. I think the combination of LeBron and AD is better than...
I just don't think people are going to be able to score against the Clippers.
Yeah?
Enough to win. They held the Lakers to a 102.
I think the Lakers are better
Paul George,
just because of LeBron and AD, but I'm not going to be surprised if the Clippers, win it all or anything like that, but...
last night there was a lot of good games as well.
There was.
The Nuggets beat the Trailblazers 108-100.
That was embarrassing because Jokic got 3 fouls in the first quarter, scored 2 points in the first half, and then he just went hey, don't forget I'm a top 10 player in the league, and scored 16 points in the fourth quarter and completely took over the game.
The Jazz struggled against the Thunder at home. That was interesting.
That Thunder team is competitive, so
they're going to play hard.
You have Chris
night.
Paul. Chris Paul is Chris Paul. I love Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
They're going to play really, really hard.
Yeah, and they have a lot of young pieces on that team. Steven Adams is good. Danny Gallinari. Obviously, there's a reason he's been in the league for so long, because he's a bucket.
T-Wolves beat the Nets 127-126. Kyrie Irving misses a game-winning jump shot
An
from
NBA it was like an NBA
what was
street
he
move.
doing?
I think he fell. And
No,
he
did that on purpose.
You think so?
Yeah, it was too orchestrated of a fall.
It might have been. Yeah, it was crazy though. And he got only Kyrie can get a wide open shot after he doesn't move like that.
Yeah,
too.
that's so true.
But I mean, Cat's real. Cat.
Everyone says he's gonna have a great year, and then it's just like,
I don't know. I don't think the T-Wolves will, because I mean, they still can't figure out Andrew Wiggins. He was just
you are correct.
He had a minus 30 plus minus.
Is he a bust? Is he a bust?
For number one overall pick?
He's a good player. I feel like he hasn't ever met his potential. Even
he's
Kansas.
He's like a middle first round. He's playing like a middle first round and late first round.
Yeah.
And he was number one overall pick.
With his athleticism, he should be a top 20 player in the league already.
He should be a top 10 player. I think anyone that's a number one pick should be at least like, I guess at the very least top 15. So I guess you're not far. Yeah, I agree with that. Top 20 is fine.
Celtics fall to the 76ers. I think the 76ers
surprised.
are very good.
Yeah.
I like the 76ers
Ben
a lot.
Simmons was he dominated the game, and he still didn't take a jump shot. And I don't care. I don't care if Ben Simmons doesn't have a jump shot, because I think
he's gonna have to get one at some point.
But I think there's so many pieces now on this Sixers team that could hide it. You got Al Horford, who can make up for Simmons' shooting, and then defensively, that team, what can you do against that team defensively? I mean, Ben Simmons is a great defender. Al Horford is the one.
I like that pickup for them. I think I think he's a better fit for their roster than Jimmy Butler is, and I think that's why the 76ers are better.
I think he's the best Giannis defender in the league, and Giannis still is going to do work against him like he did. But he's the best guy. He's the best answer for Giannis right now. And then of course you got Joel, and I think that team got deep.
I'll give you 2 minutes to rant about the Bulls, because you tripped up on Tuesday and said that they needed to win. And
Zach LaVine, what the hell, dude? What was that, man? Come on, let's talk about it.
Zach LaVine is horrible at defense.
Well, that wasn't even the problem The problem last night was Zach LaVine didn't have a good game. Fine. Zach LaVine was doing too much. Zach LaVine will have games like that. Zach LaVine was taking very bad shots, especially contested mid-rangers, which we had the whole NBA world had a debate about his comments on that. Fine. But, dude, Lauri Markkanen's balling out right now, and you're not giving him the ball late game in the stretch after you blew a 10-point lead. I mean, come on, man.
Markkanen dropped 35 last night with 17 boards.
And he shot
assists.
1 for 7 from three-point line. Those were all buckets in the paint, and that was insane. And that was so encouraging to see, too. But, I mean, Bulls' defense was terrible. And individual one-on-one defense was god-awful, which led the penetration. And that's when you saw all of these reverse passes get swung up to a wide-open three-pointer. Also, the Charlotte Hornets looked like the best three-point shooting team in the league. P.J. Washington in his opening game hit 7 3-pointers and scores 27 points. What the heck is that, man? And then Devontae Graham, I mean, we all remember him from Kansas. We thought he was at Kansas for 8 years, it felt like. But he looked like a miniature Steph Curry out there, going 7 of 8 from the Hornets set a franchise record in their first game of the year for most three-pointers in the game at 23 and shot 50%. And a lot of those threes were wide open. So Bulls defense, terrible. Offensively, I think they're exciting. They obviously put up 125, which is great. But if you're not going to fix the defense, and this is going to be a long and stressful season, my blood pressure was through the roof yesterday.
Tonight, there's a couple more intriguing matchups. The Clippers are on the road now against the Warriors. It'll be interesting to see the new-look Warriors without Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson. It seems like it's going to be out for the whole year. At least that's what Steve Kerr said earlier this week. The Hawks are up 4 right now on the Pistons. When we get back, we're going to do our NFL picks for the week, and we're going to do them with the spread, and Gabby's going to give her input as well. So when we get back, listen to our picks. Welcome back to Illini Drive. It is time for our weekly NFL segment of picks. This is one of my favorite things that I've started to do on this show in my brief tenure as a host. And I think Erich Fisher likes it just as much as I do, maybe more.
That's fun.
It's kind of fun. Gabby, you're going to join this week too, right?
Yeah.
It's better when you have a better week of games. This week's brutal.
Yeah, this week has really bad matchups.
Not really interesting matchups, I should say. You're only going to watch those games if you're a fan of the team.
Yeah, that's true.
It's one of those type of weeks.
It's a regional NFL week. Well, let's get to it. Tonight, the Redskins travel to Minnesota. The Vikings are minus 16.5. That's a massive line. But I feel like I'm going to take it just because it's in Minnesota. So give me Minnesota minus 16.5.
I think Minnesota takes the over. I think they just like kill the Redskins. They're bad. The Bears like killed the Redskins.
Yep. Gabby?
I'm so sorry. I'm trying to figure out this.
She's trying to figure out a textbook situation. She's struggling over here.
This is the struggle of student
What's the game?
Oh my
Minnesota
gosh.
travels to, or Washington travels to Minnesota. Minnesota's minus
Minnesota.
6. Okay. Well, okay. The winless Cincinnati Bengals travel to the Los Angeles Rams. God, Cincinnati just needs a win, but man, the Rams really, really need one too to stay alive in the
we got like
playoff
the
hunt.
perfect team thrown at him for that too.
The Rams are minus 13. I'll take that just because Cincinnati's awful and it's in LA.
Yeah, I mean LA is going to take that game. I'm taking LA the over. They're going to put up a bunch of points on them.
She doesn't know this one either.
Cincinnati.
We're going to go to the next one.
They're playing the Bengals. Well, whoever's playing the Bengals is going to win.
All right. We're good then. Seattle travels to Atlanta. Atlanta's got just one win. There's not even a point spread given by Caesars Sportsbook, which is my go-to. Bad. But listen to this. Westgate has it as even.
What?
So it's a pick 'em.
I mean, Seattle.
Atlanta's
defense is not even a defense. It's just a terrible...
There's no
terrible defense.
There's no money line on this either.
I'll take Seattle. I'll take Seattle by. I think Seattle will win by 17 at the least.
Oh wow. Okay. There's also no over under on this. But yeah, give me Seattle. Gabby, Seattle or Atlanta?
Seattle. I feel like Atlanta is.
They're bad.
I don't know what they're.
Bad
I don't know what's going on. They're not.
They're just a bad team.
Philly travels to Buffalo. Buffalo's minus 1.5. I like Buffalo.
I think that's one of the most intriguing games this week, and I think that's two things. Says something about this week in the NFL, and I think it says something about where the Buffalo Bills are right now.
I looked ahead at their schedule last week. If they beat the Eagles, there's a very realistic chance that they could be 10-1.
Well, yeah.
So give me Buffalo. I think they beat Philly.
Boy, but
it's
Philly,
tough to. It's really hard to win in Buffalo. Give me Buffalo.
It is hard to win in Buffalo, and man, if Buffalo wins this game, Philly's gonna probably burn down. I feel like, but I like Josh Allen. I've always liked Josh Allen. I have fun watching gunslingers, and he's a gunslinger. And that Buffalo Bills defense, especially at home, is so good. And Philly is just so lost right now. I'm gonna take Buffalo by. I'll take the spread.
I think they get the spread too. Gabby,
I would go Buffalo. Yeah.
We're all on the same page here today.
I hope Buffalo wins. Just so Austin Berkman, just
he's a great follow on Twitter.
He's pretty funny, yeah. Funny to watch him
combust on Twitter. It's hilarious. So the Chargers travel to Chicago to take on the Bears. The Bears are minus 3.5. The over. Let's do the over under on this too, just because the Bears' offense is so bad.
It is.
I don't think the Bears win by 3.5.
I don't know if the Bears.
I got a tough time picking them to win, dude.
I do too.
This is hard.
This team is a mess. They have no identity.
The Chargers are dying for a win.
Bears are grasping for air just to try and get a win right now. I mean, this team is a mess offensively. I think Matt Nagy's refusal to run the ball is just because he doesn't believe Mitch is that bad. I feel like he's in shock at how bad his third year quarterback is, where he's regressed all the way back to his rookie year, and now he can't run the plays he thought he could in year two, and I feel like he's just trying to force Mitch to snap out of it. And I just don't think Mitch will. I genuinely believe Mitch Trubisky is one of the, if not the worst quarterback in the NFL right now. And coming into the season, I thought this could be a huge breakout year for Mitch. I was a Mitch Trubisky supporter. I even got his jersey, and it just
that sucks.
I didn't buy it. My dad got a cheap knockoff that's pretty real. It looks pretty close, so I was pretty happy about it. But I'll take the Bears just because the Chargers are a mess.
I've got the Bears too. The over under is at 41. I would not take that over.
I wouldn't either. I'll take the spread for the Bears.
This game screams 17-10.
Yeah, it does. It kind of does.
Or 2017.
I feel like
but that gets you over.
And Chargers defense is solid-ish.
Gabby, what you got?
I'm sorry, but I have to go Chargers.
I'd respect that.
I feel like Phillip Rivers is due for a good game. I think he's older, but I still think he has it
He's a
in
good
him.
quarterback still.
So I don't know. I just think the Bears are a dumpster fire right now.
Wow.
And I'm sorry to say it because, I'm not hating because the Steelers aren't great right now either, but I just think the Bears offense, like the defense is so good, but it doesn't make up for the lack of offense now.
You saw it finally break down. Like this entire season for the Bears defense, it seems like every possession has the game on the line, and having that amount of pressure and having that much, the time of possession has been so not in the Bears' favor this year. And I think you finally saw the defense break down because of it. And I thought you saw Akeem Hicks' presence get missed the most, and he's still out. So I just don't know what to make of this team right now. I think they win. If they don't, I think Chicago burns down.
Yeah.
Chicago is going to riot.
Yeah. They're going to
fed up.
I
feel like everybody, not that I follow the Bears that closely, but I think everybody, especially all my friends are Bears fans, expected a lot out of this season. And I think they have.
I did. I expected
I thought they had the pieces to do it. I mean, everyone's like, Mitch MVP year. I mean, I never thought that was going to happen.
But he had good odds.
No, I get that. But this is so disappointing.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Sorry to the Bears fans.
I'm done talking about the
let's
Bears.
move on to the next one. Giants are on the road at Detroit. Detroit's -6.5. Give me the Giants covering, but Detroit still wins.
I think Detroit dominates that game. Detroit's a good football team. Like that is a good.
Yeah,
football
I'm going to
team.
change that. I'm changing. I think Detroit covers.
Detroit covers, and I think they put up a good amount of points on this Giants defense.
Yeah, I feel like Detroit's going to win. I was like riding with Daniel Barker, right?
Daniel Barker's tight end for the.
Okay, whatever. I'm so sorts of messed up. I was riding with him. Now I'm not. I'm off. I'm off the Daniel Jones train.
Next is Jets travel to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The Jaguars are -6.5. I'll take that too.
Yeah, I'll take that too. Mm-hmm. Jacksonville's a tough place to play no matter what.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting one. Arizona's on the road at the Superdome against the Saints.
That's the second most interesting game this week.
Who dat? Still don't know who's starting for them. If I was the Saints, I would honestly start Bridgewater because I think you beat them anyway. Saints are -10. I'm going to take it no matter who starts at quarterback for them.
I think I'm going to take it too, and I think it's going to be a good game. Kyler Murray's gotten so much better each game.
He's good.
This year. He's good. And I think the Arizona offense is good. I think that Cliff Kingsbury is the name, right?
Yes.
It was just so many Ks. I didn't know if I had it mixed up, but whatever. His air raid offense is translated, I think, and I think he has a perfect quarterback to put into that system. They're getting David Johnson going more. That defense is starting to step up more. Patrick Peterson came back, I think. He was injured for a little while, I thought.
No, he's suspended.
He was suspended, that's right. So I think that'll be a fun game to watch. And I think Kyler Murray's fun to watch. So that'll be one game I tune into. But I'm going to take the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Saints. I think they should start Bridgewater, but either way, they'll win.
Next one is Tampa Bay is on the road at Tennessee. Tennessee is -2.5. This is an awful matchup.
Ugh.
I wouldn't touch this if I was putting money on it. Give me Tennessee -2.5, though.
Yeah, I'll agree.
I'm going to go Tampa.
Okay.
I'm going to go Tampa. I don't know why, but I think Jameis slings this game for whatever reason. I need him to. I need Mike Evans points.
All right. Denver travels to Indy. Indy is -5.5. I'd take that too.
Indy, yeah.
Yeah, Indy for
Easy.
sure. Jacoby Brissett is so good.
Yep, he is. Next is Carolina's on the road at San Francisco. San Francisco -5.5. I would take that too.
Yep.
I feel like these are easier betting lines. Cleveland is on the road at New England. New England is -12.5. Give me that.
Yeah.
Give me by 1,000.
As soon as Jarvis Landry made those comments, I was like, New England by 1,000,000. It's over.
Oakland,
done.
Oakland and the Raiders travel to Houston to take on Deshaun Watson. Houston is -7. This one's a little bit more difficult.
I'm going to take Houston. I think Houston needs this win bad.
I think Houston wins, but I don't know if they cover.
I think they cover. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Houston.
Green Bay travels to Kansas City. Don't know if Patrick Mahomes is there.
Don't think he is.
Don't think he will be.
Give me Green Bay.
Green Bay's -3.5. I've got Green Bay, and I've got him covering.
What's the spread? I don't.
-3.5. Green Bay.
Yeah, I mean, if Aaron Rodgers keeps playing and that Chiefs defense has holes.
If Mahomes plays, I wouldn't touch it. If Mahomes is out, I would take Green Bay -3.5.
I wonder if Matt Moore, though, comes in and he played well when he came in for Mahomes last week. And
he did. Last one. Maybe the worst Monday night game that I can remember in my life. Miami travels to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's minus 14.
So gross.
If the Steelers lose this game, I literally will not be here Tuesday. Someone's going to have to produce because it won't be me.
Yeah, Steelers are minus 14. I would not touch that.
I'm not touching that at all. That's going to be probably a close game, I bet.
No, you know what? No, I'm not going to say it. I have full confidence. I need to be positive. Mason Rudolph is back. I mean, I love Duck Hodges. Don't get me wrong.
Duck?
But
it was Duck? Or I thought it was Duck.
It's Devlin, but you call it Duck. You call him Duck because he's the Duck Collar champion.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry. I don't really
follow, my gosh. Keep up with the Duck Collar champion of Alabama 2018.
At least I knew we were playing this game.
What?
At least I knew we were playing this game to start.
But, okay, well, Steelers win. Done.
I've got Steelers winning, but I don't think
they cover. Has the flu, so he better get well. Oh, my God. Get hurt.
Someone has Juju.
Okay, I think we're going to close it on
I'm taking the Dolphins because I hate the world.
Oh, my gosh. How dare you? Down. Okay, then you're going to have to produce Tuesday when the Dolphins win.
I've done it. I've touched the board before.
You touched it? Well, it's harder than it looks.
That is all the time we have for this week on Illini Drive. Obviously, Illinois takes on the Purdue Boilermakers 11 o'clock on Saturday. Big Ten Network, right?
Yep. You traveling to the game?
I'm not, no. Are you?
I am. Isaac, Gavin, and I are going. It's only an hour and a half away.
I will not be. I will be
tune
working.
Tune in to watch the Illini potentially get another upset back-to-back. That'd be huge for Lovie Smith's program. And the Monday crew will be down to break it down, as will we on Tuesday. Thank you for listening, and Gabby, hit the music.